Hello, everyone. So many of you were unable to follow along in my drawing video because you were not able to see the video. I'm so sorry for that. So I'm just going to teach you all how to draw Luffy at the museum once again, and hopefully my video is working this time. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is what we were doing last week. So I'm just going to continue with that. So we're going to start by drawing him inside of the room. And so I'm going to draw my X on my paper. I'm going to start from the bottom and then just go all the way across to the top really lightly. If you would like to use a ruler, you can. Absolutely, you can use a ruler, but if you just want to eyeball it, that is okay as well. So I'm just going to draw an X going from the bottom, a diagonal line right now, going from the bottom of my page all the way to the top right hand corner. I hope you all can see that. So I'm drawing really lightly because I want to be able to erase it later. So now I'm going to start from the top left corner and go all the way down. And you notice how I'm just moving my hand. I'm not moving my pencil at all, really. I'm just moving my hand. My hand will guide the way. So that is like an X on our paper right now. So from that X, I'm just going to draw a box or a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a vertical line somewhere between the middle of my X, which is right there, and the edge of my paper, which is up here. So somewhere in the middle, I'm going to draw a dot right there. And then from there, I'm going to draw a vertical line going straight down to my next line. So here's my vertical line, just like that. Usually I would turn the paper, but because I have limited space, I'm not going to turn my paper. I'm just going to continue to draw my rectangle. Just kind of like eyeballing it and making a rectangle, like making my horizontal line across and then my vertical line up. And then I'm just going to bring it just like that. Right. So now we have us like a box in our room. Let me just bring this down a little bit. It's a little bit off. Right. Okay, so now we have this was like a box, and we're going to erase the lines that are inside of the box, right? I'm just going to erase all of those lines. And then we can get started on drawing our Luffy at the museum, right? So here's our back wall of our room, right? And that's going to be where one of our museum artworks will be. But first, before we start drawing our artworks, we're going to draw our character, which is Luffy from the series One Piece. So as you saw in the other video with the proportions, I'm going to start by drawing a horizontal line somewhere at the bottom of my paper so that I can be able to draw the bottom part of Luffy's body. And then from there, I'm going to draw 1/2 circle and then 6 circles on top of that. And so you don't have to press hard because we are going to erase these as well, because this is just giving us like a reference to draw our Luffy at the museum with the right proportion. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my 5th one. Right, and then here's my 6th one. And your circles don't have to be perfectly, perfect. You see how my line is like a little bit wonky, but that's okay because we're still going to draw our character, right? So this is like the average proportions where like the top part would be the head, the 2 middle circles would be the torso, the bottom 3 would be the leg, and then the bottom 1/2 circle would be the feet. Okay, so we're going to start at the top with Luffy's head, and Luffy has like a almost like a round head. He has disproportionate eyes, but his body is proportionate. It is the right size for the rest of his body in relation to all the other shapes, like his torso. His head is the right size in relation to his shoulders, his torso, his legs, and his feet. So it's all proportionate. So we're going to start with his head, which would probably be, I'm just going to start by drawing his chin line because he has like that V of a chin line. So I'm just going to start drawing that. And then I'm going to draw a vertical line going down because that's going to be the size of his face. So here's his chin, that little wide V right there, and then the size of his face. And so that's the top of his head. I'm just going to leave that there for now. I'm going to erase the circle that's on the outside that we just drew because we don't need that any longer. We have his head, right? So I just erased the circle that was on the outside. And so from there, I'm going to put his neck, which is 2 vertical lines. Let me get a little bit closer so you all can see. Okay. All right, so I know it's a little bit dark. My phone is kind of like in the way. All right, so here's his neck. It's just 2 vertical lines going down on either side of that chin that we created. And so from there, I'm going to draw his shoulder with just like, it just like curves out and then kind of like goes up a bit, right? And then it's gonna go like a diagonal line up again. And then from there, it's like, this is his shirt. So I can draw his wavy lines of his shirt, right? And then diagonal line down, and it goes right back into the body portion. So that's his shirt, and it's like it's kind of like a tattered shirt. So it's not really like a neat or a cool looking shirt. It's like a tattered, raggedy kind of shirt. So that's why I have those wavy lines for the raggediness of his shirt. And so on the other side, we're going to draw the other shoulder is going to go out, and then this one is going to go down. So we're going to put it down. And again, we're going to do that raggediness, that wavy line of his shirt again, right? And then we go right back up into the torso and then come right back down. And so his shirt is a little bit young for him. So his belt would begin like right here. And we're just going to draw that horizontal line across for his belt. And then it's like a rectangle. So I'll draw another horizontal line underneath that into the next half of the circle. And that will be his belt, right? And so from the belt, we can just draw that line to connect it to the sleeve. And that would be his shirt. And now we can begin to erase those inside circles so that I can draw his collar and the buttons of his shirt, right? We can erase the back wall there. That back wall. Okay, so now it begins to look like a young shirt on him, and we have his belt, and we can begin to draw his shorts. So his shorts will come down to maybe this circle right here, because we still have to do his legs, so maybe halfway between. Yeah, right here is fine. So I have to draw his legs. So we're gonna draw like rectangles again. It's gonna be like a diagonal line going down, then across, a horizontal line, then diagonal line going up in between, and a diagonal line going down and across, and then vertical line from the top of the belt, right? And so we could begin to erase those circles again because we've already drawn his shorts. And so the bottom part of his short has like a rectangle, has like this fuzzy stuff on it. So I'm just gonna create that rectangle inside of his shorts as they are. Right, so here I'm gonna create that rectangle for the bottom. I'm not gonna go into detail yet because we can do that later. And then here's his other part of his short, another rectangle going across, right? And so his legs, I'm just gonna erase this part right here so that you all can see. Just gonna erase that circle. So his legs are more diagonal lines again, going down. So here's another diagonal line here and one here, right? And that gets into his feet. And then another diagonal line from here to here. It's going inward a little bit, right? And so that is his feet. And we can begin to erase that bottom circle. There's a lot of back and forth if you want it to be proportionate, right? So his foot is, one of his feet go out this way, right? One of his feet goes out this way. And then you do the little toe. You just do a little toe. It's a curved line going in. And then he has like the, oh, you can't see, hold up. Sorry. So it's a curved line for his feet, right? Curved line, and then all the way straight across, and then curve it up. And then he has his other toes right here. In the middle of that, there's like a triangle. So I can draw that triangle for you all. And then from there, you can draw the rest of his sandal, which is a triangle inside of there. And then the bottom part of his sandal, it just goes right underneath the foot and to that toe area right there. So that's one, that is one sandal, one foot. And his other foot is facing forward, like facing us. So you just do a curved line out on either side of his foot for his ankles, and then kind of like draw that same triangle for his sandal. And you can then begin to draw his feet, which is that one toe like that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, that might be too wide, right? And then it goes like that. And then part of the front of his sandal would come from that front toe as a curved line, and it will just like that. Right, so that would be his first, his other foot. Let me just make this a little bit darker. And so those are his feet and his arm, I mean, his sleeves of his shirt. So now we can begin to put his arms on, right? So we can put that diagonal line again going down from the shirt. And then there's like a little circle or oval at the bottom, right? And then his knuckle is like kind of like behind that. So we can draw another curved line right on the side of that. So that would be his arm. And then his other arm is going to attach to his hat. But before we start doing his hat, I just want to put in his eyes and features first, and his hair. So his eyes, when you're drawing a face, the eyes are usually in the middle of the head. So if this is the top, like this is the top of his head, this is the bottom, the eyes are somewhere in the middle, right? So they're not up here, they're in the middle. So I'm gonna draw his eyes in the middle, and his eyes are circles. They're not like regular ovals or pointy ovals like human eyes, they're circles. So I'm just gonna draw one circle like right on top, just like that. I'm gonna draw another circle on this side, just like that. Right, and so those are his eyes. And in between his eyes, he has like these little dots, right? And so he has a nose that kind of like comes from his eyebrows. I'm just going to draw a curved line. I'm going to touch that first eyeball and just kind of like go in a little bit, just a little bit. And that's his nose. And for his mouth, you all know he has a big, big cartoonish mouth, right? So that's a curved line. And underneath that is a deeper curved line. Right, and I know he has a scar on his face somewhere, like maybe right here, he has a scar. Right, and so the top part of his hairline is just like his hair and his zigzag lines. So it's definitely, this is like his forehead, and then his hair is going to come like in his face. So I'm just going to draw a diagonal line down to his face and go up. I'm just going to zigzag all the way across his face, right? And then from here, right, we can just leave that there. And his ear would be like right underneath his eye. So I'm just gonna draw like a little half an oval right there underneath his eye. And so the rest of his hair is diagonal, right? Is like diagonal lines, like spiky. And so I'm gonna curve it on the top because that is like where his hat is. So I'm just gonna curve it a little bit and then draw the rest of his hair going out on this side, zigzag, right? And so that is essentially Luffy's head. And then his hat is a circle that goes from his jaw, like from his cheek. It goes all the way around his head, just like this. Almost like behind and into his arm, like his sleeve. And so the top part of his hat is a little bit like of a hump. So I'm gonna draw a hump right on top of there. And then I'm gonna draw another line that's parallel to the hat, to the brim of the hat. And that's gonna be the red part of his thing. And so from there, I'm gonna draw his hand, which will be like up here. And then like, it's kind of like touching the hat. So you don't really see much of it. You don't really see much of his fingers. You just see it like touching the hat. And so the detail in the bottom of his shorts is that scallop line we learned earlier in the year. So on top of that rectangle that I drew, I'm just going to draw that scallop line. So it's like small little humps around the rectangles that we have there already. Okay, and then his the little belt that he has on, it kind of like tethers over. So I'm going to draw that swirly line, go down, and then more of that curvy line. It's kind of like waving in the wind, like. So I can begin to erase what's behind that. Right, and bring that whole belt to the front, that wavy part to the front. And so I'm just going to draw more curved lines going up from the belt just to represent that cloth. And then here's a curved line going down and more curved lines like inside of the wave of the cloth. Right, and I forgot his neckline. So let's draw his neckline. He has like a crew neck type of shirt on. So just gonna draw a half circle, right, underneath his neck. I'm closing his shirt, right? I don't wanna show his scars that he has. So I just drew a line like for his chest, like his neck bone, the collarbone. So I just drew a horizontal line and like a little diagonal line going down. And then from his neck, from the top chin part, I'm gonna draw another diagonal line because that would represent like his neck. And then from the other side, I'm just gonna draw his other side of his collarbone, which is just a horizontal line. And so I'm gonna draw his opening of his shirt, which is just a vertical line going down. And then I'm just gonna put his 3 circle buttons right there. And so from there, you can begin to color, to create like a picture in the background. Let me just lift it up so you can see. Oops. I think if I just like that, that'll be. You can see from there, right? Okay, so great. It's kind of like a wonky type of angle, but you can still see me, which is most important. So we're gonna draw a picture frame in the back, which is just a rectangle, right? 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines, right? And in the picture frame, you can draw whatever type of artwork you want. I'm gonna draw another rectangle inside of that rectangle to make that frame. And then I'm going to draw my diagonal lines, connect each corner of my smaller rectangle to the corner of my bigger rectangle. I know it looks wonky because that's the way my paper is going, but it doesn't really look that bad. I'm kind of like on an angle here, but you can definitely see every part of him. So on this wall, right, I drew another like frame, which is kind of like a bigger piece of artwork. And these lines that are part of the wall, those are the way I'm going to draw my picture frame. So this vertical line right here and this diagonal line here and this diagonal line going up that way, that's how I'm going to draw my picture frame, because then you get depth of field, like you get some depth in your picture. You get to see perspective, like things closer up look bigger and things farther away look smaller. So my first vertical line here is going to be farther away. It's the part of the picture that's farther away from me. So it's going to be smaller. And then as you go out this way, it gets bigger. So I'm going to go down diagonally. So the picture frame could be really big, right? And then on the top, I'm going to match and be parallel to this top, to the top diagonal line of my room. So it's going to make the picture look bigger. So parallel means that you're going the same direction, but you never touch the line, right? So that's my frame. And again, like how I did with this one, I'm going to put another smaller shape inside of the one I just created. So I'm just going to do it again and make sure that it's smaller. Right, so that would be my frame. And again, I'm going to put those lines, diagonal lines to connect my smaller circle to my inner circle. And that is my frame. All right, so it looks like the back part is farther away, and then closer to us as we see it, that is bigger, the image is bigger. So you can put whatever type of artwork in here that you want. For my first one, I put like Jackson Pollock remake, and then in the back, I put like the villain's hat. And then on the other side, we can create another frame as well, another picture frame. And I think that one was, what did I put? I put a Mondrian, right? I think I did a Mondrian. So we're going to do the same thing that we did on this side. We're going to do this side. Follow these lines. Follow the line on the floor and the line that you drew above, right? Follow that line because that will help you draw your picture frame on the exact angle. It'll help it give it some depth, like it was like you were actually looking inside of a room. So that line is the same as this one, right? And this line I'm doing now is down and vertical. Is the same as this one. It's just further away. It's going down down and diagonal, down and out to the left is the diagonal for the floor. And that's the same diagonal for my picture. I'm going up vertically, right? And then I'm going to do this same diagonal line in my for my picture frame. So I'm going to go diagonal up and to the left as far as I can take it until it kind of like connects with my picture. I think it would connect right there. So that is my other frame. And then like how I did with this one, I'm just going to put another shape, a smaller shape inside of that one, right? More parallel lines, right? Inside of that one, and then I'm going to connect my smaller shape to my bigger shape. And so you can create whatever designs you want inside your picture frames. You can put lights on the top and definitely color in your Luffy. You can actually erase this line as well at the bottom. That was just for reference. And once you color, you won't see all those circles and lines anymore either. So now we have successfully created Luffy at the museum using the correct proportions of a human being's body. Like every part of the body is proportionate to the other one, which means that it matches the size of the other parts of the body. So we've successfully drawn our human Luffy at the museum. I hope you enjoyed your time with me today, and please color in your entire picture, your entire picture, and send it to Ms. Maglio in Class Dojo or in Google Classrooms. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week. And again, I am so sorry that you were not able to see that first video.